Hey everyone, Django Fett here, Honey Down Games, comics, TV shows, movies, and more. And I apologize for the live stream hassles, the connection issues that were happening last week. And I wanted to do a live stream discussing the mid-season 2, midway into season 2. But unfortunately it didn't work out, so I decided just to do a regular video discussing season 2 so far. So this won't be like a highly edited video. I'm just gonna probably not edit too much out from this video. There might be bits and pieces edited out, but it's gonna be much like a live stream almost, but in video format. So it's not gonna be anything too crazy or anything like that, but just a regular video I'm just gonna put out for now. Discussing The Mandalorian Season 2 so far, from episodes 1, and since episode 5 came out, episodes 1 through episode 5. I'm actually not going to go into detail with episode 1. This is for season 2, by the way. And there's 8 episodes in total. Episode 1 was the Marshal. I've already done a live stream video. If you want to check that out, I'll put a link in the description. The Marshal. I would say it's probably the best episode so far in the show, as it was directed and written by Jon Favreau. Definitely the best episode by far. The episodes after is when I get into issues with the show, and so I'll try to go into more detail with each episode. Not go too crazy, as I don't want to make this video too long. So let's start with the second episode, which is chapter 10, The Passenger. This was a this was a bad episode. This was just a filler episode. This was directed by Peyton Reed. He actually was involved with Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp. I don't think he was really involved with Ant-Man, the first one, too much, because I think that was more of Edgar Wright's creation, so I do think that was definitely showing. And the second movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp, was definitely not good. It was okay, but it was not a great film, or a good film in comparison to the first movie. So he's definitely showing like he's not really a capable director, and I'm seeing it with The Passenger in this second episode of season 2. This was just a filler episode where they have to transport this frog lady who, in order to transport this frog lady to this other planet, her husband knows where the location of some Mandalorians are. So he has to transport this frog lady with the eggs, and this whole time, like, Baby Yoda is eating the eggs, and it's so fucking annoying. At this point, I'm kind of sick of Baby Yoda, and I want nothing to do with him. It wasn't only that, but it's just like him and the baby stuff, all this other, like, just drop it, man. It just seems to repeat this bullshit, like, from this dragged on stuff from season 1. It worked with season 1, and now they want to drag it and drag it and drag it on. I'm just like, can we be done with this after season 2? Because I just don't think it's working. But anyway, so they crash land on the planet. They try to get to this planet, but they are confronted by X-Wing fighters for the New Republic, and they are crash land on this ice planet, and they encounter these spider-like creatures. So they try to fight them off, and the X-Wing pilots save them at the end, and then they do their repairs, minor repairs, and they take off to this water world. And that was the episode, and it was not a good episode. It was a filler episode, and I get it, there was a bunch of filler episodes in season 1, but I do think they were better executed than in this episode in particular. And it's just, yeah, Peyton Reed is just showing he's just not a capable director, as is shown with Ant-Man and the Wasp and the highly edited Ant-Man. And now this episode, I'm not seeing it out of him. I just don't think he's a capable director. Moving on, we have The Heiress, which is episode 3. This is directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, who is the daughter of Ron Howard. She also did, I think it was some episode, I think like an episode or 2 of season 1. But But this was a very short episode, and you can definitely see that their episodes are getting shorter and shorter. It was almost like 30 something minutes. So they left off from the episode, and they get to this water world, and it falls right into the water at the last moment. The frog lady finds her husband, and they find this fisherman who leads them to these other Mandalorians, but he ambushes he tricks them, and then we have these people come in, the Mandalorians come in, and they're led by Bo-Katan from TCW, the Clone Wars series. So this is where I have my issues with this show, because it feels like it's TCW porn almost in this episode, and then we get into the 5th episode too. So before I get to the 5th episode, so Bo-Katan, she's like a former Death Watch who, this is the part of Dave Filoni's trash that I just hated, where they changed up the Mandalorian lore, where it seems like the Death Watch, I mean, they're bad people, they're terrible people, but they seem a little bit more sensible compared to, there's like the peaceful Mandalorians or some shit from Mandalore, and it's just like, yeah, this show is, I will never watch this show because of that, because of ruining the image of Mandalorians, because of fucking that shit alone. So he's saved by Bo-Katan. He finds out they're another group and wants to leave. So she enlists in his help in seizing a weapons freighter or a weapons ship weapons from an Imperial freighter. And after boarding the freighter, they deal with most of the Imperials, and the Imperial captain is instructed by Moff Gideon to crash the ship. But they prevent it, and they question him about the Darksaber from the TCW show, and he commits suicide. And Bo-Katan directs the Mandalorian to meet the Jedi Ahsoka Tano from TCW. To go to her in order to train the Baby Yoda, and it ends right there. Yeah. First off, I don't like the idea of Mandalorians taking off their helmets willy-nilly, which the Death Watch do. And since they're former Death Watch, the Death Watch are complete fucking assholes. They're terrible fucking representations of Mandalorians. And I don't know how they did it in TCW, made them more violent. I guess I don't know. I don't care. But they're not redeemable people. And they try to do it with Bo-Katan and this other bullshit. And I like how Bo-Katan is actually reprised by the voice actress, who I've seen from Battlestar Galactica, Katie Sackhoff, who is a very capable actress, and I like her. And I think it's really cool to have her, be the voice actress to actual role. I mean, I think that's a really cool nod, and I think that deserves a lot of respect, and I will give the show, this episode in particular, a lot of respect for that. TCW fans will be happy with the episode and the references that it goes into with this episode. But honestly, I could care less. As someone who doesn't know anything about TCW, who doesn't care about TCW, I'm just looking for EU-related stuff, I guess. I could care less about it. And if you're jumping in and you're kind of like watching the show and you're mentioning like all this TCW stuff, you're going to be completely lost when watching The Mandalorian and you haven't watched TCW. Like, they're mentioning Darksaber and Bo-Katan, like, who the fuck are these people? Am I supposed to like fucking know all this other shit? I have to watch a complete, like, all the way through the Clone Wars to understand what's going on in here, and I guess Rebels too. That's not the way it should work. I understand what they did with the Clone Wars, and then going into Episode 3. Like with the Clone Wars, there are elements where they kind of explain where Grievous is coughing, and the battle, and Palpatine getting captured. But that show is pretty short, and it sets up a great job with the movie. A really short show. It's not super fucking long like TCW and dragged on and all this other bullshit. Like, I don't have to watch like a fucking 5, 6 seasons to understand, then go and understand this shit. I understand it's like one episode or 2 episodes or whatever that happened in that arc, but that's not how it should work, man. Fuck that. And now I'm understanding how people are feeling when watching episode 3 and not understanding some of the things. I'm kind of like that when watching this show now, because I'm supposed to understand what's happening in TCW now. Like, that's fucking bullshit. And I get it that, you know, the Disney canon is now built off TCW and Dave Filoni's stuff, and I get that, but I don't like it. I detest it. I detest Dave Filoni and detest everything about it. So I don't like this episode. I don't like episode 2, episode 3. But there's another episode I do like, and then there's another episode I don't like. So let's get into the next episode. Episode 4, The Siege. So this one is directed by Carl Weathers, who I have a lot of respect for. Carl Weathers. He's been in Rocky, and I didn't even know he would direct these films. But he was in Apollo as well. He was in Predator. Very capable actor, and after seeing this episode, very capable director. I don't know if he did the last season an episode for that, but he did direct this particular episode, so definitely caught my interest. So in the beginning, we have Baby Yoda being a klutz as per usual. But they go to this world Navarro to do repairs of the ship. Thankfully not going to Ahsoka Tano. But this episode is not a filler episode. This actually sets up a lot of things that would become important for the story down the road. So this is the episode that I like because they reunite with their allies Cara Dune and Greef Karga, played by Carl Weathers. And while the Razor Crest is being repaired, the Mandalorian is shown how things are improving in Navarro, which was in Season 1. And I don't have to know these fucking references from TCW or all this other bullshit. And they have to fight, they have to face off on this Imperial base and destroy it. And the Mandalorian agrees to help them destroy it. So they go inside the base and discover it has been used for unsuccessful experimentation on Baby Yoda's blood, which has a high midichlorian count. So they do see all these experimentations that are going on, pretty fucked up. So they try to blow up this. They blow up this reactor to blow up the base. They find out it's a laboratory. And the Imperials are still after the child again. Then the speeder bikes, you know, chase after the crew. Just great action in this episode. Then after speeder bikes, it becomes TIE fighters. And then Mando comes to save them after getting the child. And I found this is a good episode. This was a really good episode. Not as good as episode 1, but still a damn good episode. Because it carries the weight of Season 1 and uses the same characters. And I don't have to go through all this TCW or all these other references to know and understand what's going on. I know what is clearly going on, and I love it. And we also find out that the Marshal was from Alderaan. And the Rebels or the Republic, one of the X-Wing guys, gave her like a medal or something so she can return. I guess she was like a former Rebel. I don't remember. I guess that was referenced in Season 1. I'm not really sure. But we also find out Moff Gideon at the end. And there's a device planted on the Mandalorian ship by one of the Imperial spies. And then we see a bunch of soldiers are lined up on the walls with what looks like EU-inspired Dark Troopers, which is pretty fucking cool. See, this is what I'm talking about, man. Let Jon Favreau do the rest of the show, not fucking Bryce Dallas Howard or Dave Filoni, which I will get to that episode. And let Jon Favreau do the rest of it. I understand you have to have different directors and stuff, but Jon Favreau knows what he's doing, and Carl Weathers, I mean, he was pretty capable in this episode too, as he directed that. But from this point, episodes 1 through 4, they are written by Jon Favreau. Let's go into the next episode, episode 5, which is The Jedi, chapter 13. This is written and directed by Dave Filoni, so you know I'm gonna have problems right away. So after getting the ship repaired, they are off to go to the planet of Corvus to find the population living in fear of the city's magistrate and their guards, including a hired mercenary named Lang, who is played by, oh my goodness, Michael Biehn, who is from Terminator, Aliens, and The Abyss as well. So pretty awesome stuff. And he even has a shotgun. I think from Aliens, I think he had a shotgun. So that was pretty cool reference. I will give you that, and pretty cool to see him. But he does die in the end and has a really minor role. But I guess he's in the show. Beat short. The magistrate offers to give the Mandalorian a spear of Beskar steel in exchange for killing Ahsoka. The Mandalorian finds Ahsoka outside the town and presents the child to her. They fight, actually, because Ahsoka doesn't know if he's out to get her. And I don't know if this was in the EU or anything like that. But she attacks the Mandalorian, and as she's striking him, he uses his hands up in the air, the Beskar steel where it is, and it doesn't slice his hands off, nothing. So I was thinking that wasn't possible in the EU, and this is kind of a Disney canon creation, which is kind of weird that, I guess Beskar steel can block lightsaber attacks, which can slice through fucking anything, and their people are using the fucking Force, and the only way to, in the EU, the only way to really, from what I remember, is in the Purge series, in the Purge comic, the only way to nullify a lightsaber is to use a Cortosis blade. If you slash a Cortosis blade on the lightsaber, that would nullify the lightsaber, leaving it useless in the fight. But it become usable later on, of course. But that was the only way, from what I remember, that would be a match for a lightsaber. But I don't remember Beskar steel and the Mandalorians or anything like that it would block lightsaber attacks. I mean, that's fucking nuts. I mean, if you remember Open Seasons, those Mandalorians that were fighting the Jedi in that battle, I think Battle of Galadron, I think they were wearing the steel and the Beskar steel, and they were getting killed left and right. So I mean, I don't I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it made sense to me. Whatever. I mean, they can do whatever they want. That's their thing. Ahsoka then talks to the baby Yoda, and we find out the child's name is Grogu. Grogu. Grogu, which is a funny name. I'll give it that. And that he had begun training as a Jedi before the rise of the Empire, and she agrees to continue his training if the Mandalorian helps defeat the magistrate. They overpower the guards, free the citizens, and the Mandalorian kills Lang. And we also have in the fight two assassin droids, two HK-88s, which is referenced to in Knights of the Republic. The assassin droid was HK-47. So they were able to easily battle them, and Ahsoka then fights, what's her name, the magistrate, one-on-one, and in a really bad fight. It was not a really good fight at all. I was not impressed one bit. Yeah, that was not a good fight, man. And it was on, like, the worst layout. It was, like, this really small, shitty-looking, like, bridge to this, like, water around them, and it was not a good fight. Like, in the concept art, they had like this really cool Japanese looking building inside, and they were fought inside. And I think that would have been better to fight inside than outside, which was just, it looked terrible. It did not look good. So I didn't like that. It was not a good fight. And Ahsoka fights Magistrate, and Ahsoka wins and demands to know the whereabouts of her master, Grand Admiral Thrawn. So I guess Thrawn... I know Thrawn was part of this universe, whatever, at this point. Ahsoka refuses to train Grogu due to his close attachment to the Mandalorian. And instead, she directs them to an ancient temple on the planet Tython, where Grogu could use the Force to decide his own fate. She also gives the spear to the Mandalorian. Yeah, so this was, like, meaningless. Yeah, of course it sets up to Ahsoka, but, like, now you have to go to another fucking place, because, no, fuck you. Just train the fucking kid, man, come on. Now they have to go to fucking, Tython, which was an EU creation, of course. But it's just like, come on, man. Yeah, and, Rosario Dawson plays as Ahsoka Tano. I could care less about Ahsoka. I don't like Ahsoka at all. From the beginning of Season 1, I guess, from TCW or whatever it was. I just always found her fucking annoying and everything. And I guess she's like a big favorite in TCW. I get it. But, she's played by Rosario Dawson. So I think she did do voice acting as Ahsoka in the show, in Rebels, or whatever it is. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. So, I mean, she looked the part. I don't know why she has white lightsabers instead of blue lightsabers, but whatever, I don't care. She's doing her thing. I don't know why the fuck she's in this random place instead of, I guess with the fucking Luke Skywalker and rebuilding the Jedi Order. You're doing fuck all, and you're doing this shit? I mean, come on. Like, just, what the fuck are you doing? What's the point? Like, it just seems so fucking random. And then you just have to lead them to another fucking place because, oh, you have a bond with him, even though you're not a fucking Force user. The Mandalorian's not a fucking Force user. So how are they supposed to? I don't know. I don't fucking get it. And as you can tell, I do not like this episode. So this show is very uneven, and so far I'm not really liking it. I'm unimpressed. And I mean, I'm not giving a rating or anything, but we'll see at the end of the show. But it's not looking good, man. It's not really looking good. And so far, out of 5 episodes, 2 episodes have been good. 2 out of 5 episodes have been good so far. And that's not good. I mean, if it was 3 for 5, I'll give you that. But 2 for 5? Yikes. Yeah, that's not good, man. So we'll see how these last 3 episodes go. All we know is that it's the 6th episode is written by Jon Favreau, 7th is written by Rick Famuyiwa, and the last episode is written by Jon Favreau. So I would guess there would be another episode where Jon Favreau would write and direct. But who knows? It could be the 6th episode, it could be the 8th episode. I have no idea. But I am not impressed with Season 2 so far. We'll see how it goes from here, but yeah, it's pretty disappointing compared to Season 1, which was, you know, a blast and everything. And it wasn't perfect by any means, but it was definitely a breath of fresh air. This, however, with all the TCW reference crap and all this other shit, I'm just not buying into it. And I'm just seeing right through it, and it's just, I'm not impressed. I've already seen it all, and they're kind of repeating some stuff with the action and everything. It's just like, I just don't get it. I don't get what they're trying to do with the show, and I think majority of people will love it. I get it, but doesn't have the same vibe and hype and direction like this first season. So just, it's not looking good. So that was just a, hold on, it's like 30-minute video, and just supposed to make up for my live stream debacle that happened last week. So hopefully I can get that fixed with the live streams and stuff, possibly like next week or so, and I can continue live streams. I'm not going to do live streams like every single week or anything like that, but whenever I feel like it, I'll let you guys know in advance, like a 2 or 3 days, maybe 1 day in advance, who knows. And we'll see how it goes from there with the Mandalorian and everything. And of course, I'll do a non-spoiler and probably a spoiler review for the Mandalorian, or spoiler discussion of the Mandalorian, and then get into like a review for that as well. So that was kind of like my mid-season discussion included with episode 5 included in this review or video as well. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.